factoring today. And so the good news for you is that you've seen factoring in both Algebra 1 and geometry. The bad news about you having seen factoring before is that your teacher probably taught it to you in a specific way that might be different than how I'm going to teach it to you. So bottom line is this: I don't care if you remember how your old teacher did it, you can do it that way. Okay, as long as you remember it and it works. Okay, the end result is the same. I'm going to teach you how I like to do it. I think it's easier, but if you remember you had Miss McDaniel or Miss Burnett and they taught you something different, that's totally fine. We're learning how to factor. So here's the basic gist of factoring. Do y'all remember what form this is called? Great. Okay, this is standard form. Okay, factored form is when you break it up into parentheses. Factored. We did, but we did it from a graph, so now we're going to learn how to do it with the equations, okay? So you are going to start with your equation in standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, and then you are going to check for a GCF. What does that stand for? Greatest common factor. Good. Okay, then you are going to multiply AC together, and you are going to list out all possible factors. Okay, if your AC is positive, you are going to add and have the same sign. If your AC is negative, you are going to subtract the two numbers. Okay, the goal is to get B in the middle. Once you choose pairs from your list, you're going to divide by x on both sides, and then you're going to write your factors bottoms up. Okay? So it's not hard, but it has a couple of steps. So I'd like for you to do your best to try and get on board, and then if you remember, or if the way your teacher taught you how to do it comes back to you, fine, do it that way. Okay, so look at your equation. It's already in standard form. A, B, C. What is my A if there's not a number there? A is a 1. Okay, from there, I want you to check for GCF. Okay, 1, 11, and 28 don't have anything in common, so we can kind of skip that step. Okay, you're going to multiply A and C together, put it at the top of your chart. Okay, A is a 1, C is a 28. When I add those together, what do I get? 28. Multiply. So 1 times 8 is 28. Now we want to list all possible factors that can multiply to 28. Okay, but to make sure that we don't miss any, we're going to start with 1. So 1 times what? Okay, next go to 2. 2 times what? 14. Now next I would want to go to 3, but can 3 divide into 28 evenly? No. Skip it. Okay, 4? 4 times 7. My next one would be 5. Can 5 go into 28? 6? 7? But 7 times 4 is already on here. So don't list any repeats. Okay, so I'm going to list all possible factors. If I have a positive AC, I'm going to add. If I have a negative AC, I'm going to subtract. What do I have here? Positive. That means that I want to add, and I want my factors to be the B. Get it? Haha. Okay. I want it to be whatever the B was in my equation. What was it? An 11. Which of these add to 11? 4 and 7. Now, once I pick 4 and 7, I'm going to divide both of those by x. So look at this step right here. I'm going to divide by x on both sides. And then to write your factors, you're going to go bottoms up. What that means is you're going to start at the bottom. You're going to go to the top. So this would be x plus 4. This would be x plus 7. Now, if the number that you picked happened to be negative, you would just do, like, say this was a minus 7, you do x minus 7. Got it?
Why did you pick, because it has to be the lowest number? 4 and 7?
No, we picked 4 and 7 because they add to 11.
Oh.
What's 4 plus 7?
Equals 11.
11. Okay? So that's a good question. We're picking 4 and 7 because they give us 11 when I add them. Okay?
So the numbers that you pick have to match B.
They have to match the B in the middle, correct. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Ready? Look at number 2. Okay, give me like at least 3 examples for you to try to pick up on it before you get frustrated. Okay, A, B, C. Okay, I have no GCF, so I'm ready to set up my chart. A and C need to be multiplied together. A is a 1, C is a 12. What is 1 times 12? 12. Okay, now notice that's a positive 12. Okay, from there I want to list all the ways I can times to get 12. What do I have? Start with 1. 1 and 12. What else? 2 times 6. What else? 3 times 4. Okay, my next pair would be 4, but times 3, that's already on the list. Okay, look at the top. I have a positive. That means I want to add. What do I want them to be when I add them? 7. 3 and 4 are going to be my numbers. Okay, 3 and 4 are my numbers. I divide them both by x. And then bottoms up. What's my first factor? X plus 3 and x plus 4.
Do you throw like equals in front of
You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Alright, let's come down to number 3. Next one. Okay, notice that both of those, your AC was positive, you were adding. Now we're going to look at subtraction. Okay, so A, B, C. Set up your T. My A is still a 1, but my C is a minus 20 this time. So what is 1 times minus 20? Okay, good. AC is negative 20. Okay, let's list all the factors of 20. Don't worry about the negative right now. Start with 1. 1 times what? 1 times 20. And we're going to ignore the negative right now. Okay, 2 times what? 2 times 10. Okay, can 3 divide into 20? What about 4? 4 times 5. Okay, now look at the top. Remember, okay, this negative tells me that I want to subtract. And when I subtract, I want to get B. What is B here? Negative 1. Okay, so I want to subtract to be negative 1 because that's my B. Okay, so look at your choices. Yes?
I want the numbers inside the graph to be negative.
Because we're going to assign the negative after we pick. So look at your choices. Which of those subtract to 1 at all? 4 and 5. But then I have to pick. Do I want to do 4 minus 5? Or do I want to do 5 minus 4? Remember, I want to get a negative 1 in the middle.
4 minus 5.
Positive 4 and minus 5. Now, if I wanted positive 1, I'd pick this pair. Okay, so then divide them both by x and then write your factors. What is my first factor? X plus 4. Bottoms up. What about this one? X minus 1. Oh, wait, sorry. I meant 5. Make sense? So in your chart, you don't have to put the negatives because once you pick your pair, you're going to decide which one to put the negative on. So I chose to put the negative on the 5 side, but I could have chosen to put it on the 4 side. Okay, let's skip the next one, turn over to the back. Actually, never mind, let's do number 4. Okay, so set up your chart for me. AC needs to go at the top. What's A? 1. What's C? Okay, so A times C is 1 times negative 6. What do I get? Okay, how can I times to get 6? 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. Now remember, the negative at the top tells me that I'm going to end up needing to subtract. What do I want them to be when I subtract them? Okay, look in the middle. It's a positive 1x. Very good. So I want them to be a positive 1. Look at your partners. Who subtracts to 1? 1 and 6 or 2 and 3? 2 and 3. You have 2 choices. You can do 2 minus 3 or you can do 3 minus 2.
Wait, can you do negative 2 plus 3?
That's the same, yeah. Okay, so think about what is 2 minus 3? Is that what I want?
No.
What about 3 minus 2? 1. So I'm going to pick these guys. Divide both by x. What's my first factor? Positive 3 with x and x minus 2. So positive 3 minus 2. Make sense? All right, turn over to the back. All right, we are going to skip number 5, go to number 6. Or actually, let's do number 7 first. Okay, look at number 7. What is different about this one? Flip back over. What is step number 2 that you're supposed to check for? Okay, check for a GCF. So is there a GCF on this one? What can all those divide by? 2. So I'm going to divide by 2 to make all of my numbers smaller. So if it was a 2x squared, what is it now? Okay, just a normal x squared. Okay, then it was a 18, but I divide by 2, now it's a 9x. Okay, and then I had a 28 divided by 2, now it's a 14. This is my A, B, C. You remove the GCF, then you identify your letters. Set up your chart. A and C. Multiply them together. What's my A here? 1. What's my C? What's 1 times 14? Positive 14, right? Okay, from here I need to pick all the ways I can multiply to get 14. What would I pick? 1 and 14 or 2 times 7. Okay, then I go to 3 doesn't work, 4 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, 6 doesn't work, then I'm back at 7 times 2. Okay, this is very important. Okay, this is a positive. That means that I am going to add 2 numbers with the same sign. Now, ignore the negative for a second. What do I want them to be? What number? 9. Who adds to 9 in the list? 2 and 7, right? But if I want to get a negative 9, I just need them to have the same sign. So I'm going to make both of them negative. Okay, now, for those of you that are confused by that, I'm going to seal this for 1 second. Okay, remember, here's how negatives work. If I do negative 2, can you all see this? Okay, if I do negative 2 times negative 7, do I still get positive 14?
Yes.
Yes. If I do negative 2 minus 7, do I still get negative 9? Yes. So what you need to know is that if you are adding, that just means they have to have the same sign. A lot of times, it means that they're both positive, but it could also mean that they're both negative. Okay, from there, I pick negative 2 and 7, divide by x. What are my factors? Bottoms up. X minus 2 and x minus 7. Now, when you take out a GCF, okay, that number does not just go away forever. You would take whatever that number is and write it in the front. Okay, so if I divided by 2 at the beginning, I would need to put my GCF of 2 in the front. Okay? And this would be considered factored form. Okay, let's backtrack 1. Let's do number 6 now. Okay, look at your question. This one also has a GCF. Remember, a GCF can be a number, but it can also be a letter. What do all of those terms in number 6 have? An x. So I'm going to divide an x out here, and I'm going to see what is left over. If I had x to the 3, but I take one x out, how much is left? X squared. Then I had a 6x squared, but I take one of the x's out. Now it's a 6x. And instead of being squared, it's just x to the 1. Okay, my 8x had an x, but I divided an x out. What's left now? Just an 8. A, B, C. Now, to help me remember not to forget about that x, this is what I'm going to do next. X, parentheses, parentheses. Okay, because remember that this x doesn't just go away. It has to reappear in the front of your parentheses. Okay? So let's set up our T. Remember that we're using these letters right here. My A is a 1, my C is an 8. What is 1 times 8? 8. Notice that it's a positive 8. What are my factors? 2 and 4. Remember that plus means that I'm adding, which means that I have the same sign. What do I want them to be when I add them up? 6. So which of those add to 6? 2 and 4. But if I want a negative 6, I use negative 2 and negative 4. Okay, then divide both of those by x, and you have your parentheses. What's my first parentheses? Bottoms up, x minus 2. Bottoms up here, x minus 4. one we're going to do together is number 8. Number 8's a little bit different because what do you notice is missing on number 8? Okay, you do not have a B. If it's not there, how many are there? 0. So let's do number 8. Okay, I am going to write number 8 in standard form. That means that I'm going to write it like this. X squared plus 0 x's minus 25. Set up your T. Okay, and actually let me ask this. Do we have a GCF here? No. Okay. So my A is a 1. B is a 0. C is a negative 25. What is 1 times negative 25? Negative 25. Remember that negative is important because that tells me later on I'm going to have to subtract. Okay, what are my possible factors that will multiply to 25? 1 and 25 or? 5 and 5. Now, when I subtract these, what do I want it to be? They need to subtract to 0. Okay, so think about which of those numbers can I minus to get 0? 5 minus 5. Then what do I divide them both by? X. And then I bottoms up. What's different about the parentheses? The first one is what sign? Positive. The second one is negative. So you would have x plus 5 for the first one, x minus 5 for the second one. Do I have a GCF to put in the front? No. Make sense? Okay, these examples are going to get a little bit harder tomorrow, so make sure that you understand what you're doing so that you're not confused. Okay, on your homework, okay, go ahead and look at it for me. Okay, I would like for you please to try do number 9 off the back, please. Now, 9, 10, 11, and 12 all have GCFs. So pretty much from here down, you need to GCF first. So work number 9. Let's see if you can get it. Okay, and then you'll have the rest of the class to work. Okay, first question, what's my GCF? Okay, so divide by 3, so I have x squared.
Oh my gosh! Where did you set it from?
I know, I was like, what? Okay, so remember, you want to divide by 3 because it makes your life easier, right? So divide by 3, this is now an x squared. What's the 6 now? 2x, 24 divided by 3 is? 8. If you don't divide, here, I'll come help you fix yours. You'd have to basically divide both your parentheses by 3. So, okay, so I have 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. What are my factors? 2 and 4. Okay, remember the negative tells me that I need to subtract. What do I want it to be when I subtract? Negative 2. Because remember, we're using our new numbers right here. Okay, so which of those are going to subtract to 2? 2 and 4. Do I want to do 2 minus 4, or do I want to do 4 minus 2?
2 minus 4.
2 minus 4, because remember, this is going to give me the negative 2. Then I divide them both by x. What are my factors? X plus 2 and x minus 4. Okay, am I done? What did I forget? That GCF needs to go back in the front. Okay? Now, somebody in the other class was confused because a lot of the examples worked out to where, like, the numbers you picked were the bottom of the list. Do y'all understand? That doesn't have to be true. You can pick any pair from that list. It doesn't have to be the bottom one, okay? Alright? Alright, you can do it. Your homework is due tomorrow, but if you finish it today, you can turn it in early. Yes?
On number 11, we just put the X back in front.
You take the X out. Yes, just like on that example. All done? Thank you, ma'am.
I guess one.